Hello and welcome to this playthrough of Factorio, where I am building a megabase on Earth. I am using a mod, Cities of Earth, focusing on the Old World Hemisphere. My goal is to reach 10,000 science per minute with a rail-based design. The resources are set to maximum size and density, and biters and pollution are turned off. The mod list is shown in the description, as well as a link to my Twitch channel, High Speed. Please come visit me there. Questions and comments are welcome. Thank you for watching. Okay, I'm back. So, Metacarius, to answer your question about going up on your MegaBase, I agree with Wes, dude. Segment it so that you can identify shortages. There's several other suggestions I have. Don't put the final components segment like what I've done here. Isolate things. Like here is red and green science. It makes sense for me for red and green science to have their own supply. So they've got their own green circuits, their own inserters. Now, you don't have to do it like I did where everything goes on a train. But, well, I disagree with that, West dude. I'm not on the same page as West dude there because it causes traffic problems. But make modules of things that have pieces, right? So, yeah, I'll disagree with Wes on that because it causes traffic problems. But what I have here is I have a place that makes red science. And the things that red science need are fed to it from other local places. Like here's where I'm making gears. Right? And in order to make green science, I have to have belts, so I have a place where belts are made. And so what this architecture does, what this layout does for me, is it says inputs are essentially the raw materials, the plate that it needs to make it, and the outputs are the science. Now, you don't have to put them all on trains. You could have one place that unloads iron plate and copper plate, and then it belts it into gears and green circuits and inserters and belts, and then it belts into red science and green science. Right? So that's what I mean by segment things. Put them in places where you can control. Sure. What I mean by segment is figure out what your output is going to be and figure out what it's going to need. Like this is red science. So, red science needs copper and gears, and this is green science, and green science needs belts and inserters, and belts need gears, right? And inserters need gears. So when you look at it, this whole thing needs iron and it needs copper. And so by segmenting it, I can limit how much traffic and congestion there is. Now, you don't have to put everything on rails and stations and trains like I do. Well, that's just it. If you segment things, then you bring in the raw materials and you make the intermediates, and then you make the finished product, and then you put the finished product on a train. So if you were to imagine, if you wanted to make red science, have one place where you make red science and bring in the things that red science needs, and then bring out the red science. Don't try and have a place where you bring in all the iron plate, all the copper plate, make the steel, and then move it around so that you can satisfy a whole bunch of things. Segmenting means that you have a module or a component or an area of your base that does one thing, and all of the things that it needs in order for it to get done. Right? There are some exceptions to that, like oil and fluids, because they kind of split up. Yeah, you don't want all the science you said interlaid. I would say interwoven or intermixed. If you want a MegaBase, you have to split them out. Now, you don't have to put it on trains. You can use belts. That would be fine. Try not to use too many bots. They will eat your UPS. Keep your satellite, keep your rocket stuff separate from your science stuff. And for the primary things that the rocket silo needs, which is the low density structures, the rocket fuel, and the rocket control units, don't put those on a train. They stack too poorly. You want to put those, you want to build those near the rocket silo. Because they only stack to 10, and that's terrible. Well, apparently I wasn't consistent there. So those two things will go a long way for you. The other thing I would recommend is process ore where it is. So convert your ore to plate. You're obviously going to need some iron ore, and you're going to need some stone. So you'll need places for that. But this is called on-site smelting, and it's up to you as to how much on-site smelting you do. I am not doing on-site steel smelting, but some people do that. So that's what I mean by segmenting. And the reason for that is because ore only stacks to 50 and plate stacks to 100, and it takes one ore to make one plate, except for brick, which is 2 ore to 1 brick. So it's not transportation efficient to move the ore on train. Now you think, well, I got to build this and tear it down. Yeah, but once you built it and moved it, you do that only once. Because you're going to build it somewhere else. You're not going to lose those buildings, because Factorio has a 100% return policy on buildings. And leave yourself extra room. Figure out how much space you need, and then double it. So I've shut down all the trains, and I figured out that this is what I'm going to need to do here. My migration process is going to be, it doesn't look like I need to delete anything. because I'm not seeing that I have to delete things for this. So I want this one to face up, and currently it faces down. No, it faces up. These are all facing up. Yeah, it faces up. Okay. Well, that's going to be easier to fix than I thought. So I need to keep that red and that red. I don't need to. No, I don't need to keep that. So disconnect that. I could just disconnect all of them. But then I've got to get a template. I didn't want to disconnect everything. Because now I've got to go and reprogram this on all of these. But I do want to reprogram this on all of these. I don't want to have to go visit all of these. Oh, and I disconnected the station too. Son of a bitch. Didn't want to do that. But from there, so these numbers have to be doubled on this. This is 3K and 2K. So this has got to be 6K and 4K. Oh, I didn't want to delete that either because I had a red wire there. I didn't want to lose that. But from here, this should be copyable. Now, these are all arithmetic combinators, and I don't carry those. So you're telling me that this is 5K and I don't carry enough of those, I don't think. I have visitors. Wally, thank you. I was just looking. Man, Twitch is being slow. How are you, Wally? Did you have a good stream? Alrighty. Well, for some reason my auto follow thing didn't work. So let me do this part manually. Twitch being weird. Let's see. The follow is from Caladorn. So I hit this button. There it is. Caladorn, thank you for the follow. You get a wagon named after you. Or your name on a wagon. In this case, you're in France. On a copper train. Twitch still ain't working right. Alright, I'll do this one manually too. Holman 1. Does it work? Maybe not. I'll get it to work. There it is. You get an iron train that is feeding red and green science. Thank you for the follow. Still playing. Yeah, you know what? Exotic Industries. Amazing that you can stick with that. Then again, they made some updates to it. They should have made it a lot better. I, too, am doing expansions and redos and stuff like that. I'm refactoring things. Carly Flower. That's a great name. That is such... well done. For some reason, my follow thing is working, but not invoking the external app correctly, and I don't know why. So, I just do this, and then you get a wagon. You're also on a copper train, next to Squid Coder, who was in here just earlier tonight. You're in Europe, rolling around, ultimately you're carrying copper plate that ends up in speed modules. How awesome is that? Hyped for 2.0? Yeah, very much so. They had those blueprints in the FFF a couple weeks ago. Oh, bring me that. They have a lot of good FFFs, yeah. By the way, I do have a YouTube channel, and I am chopping up this stream into VODs that go onto YouTube. And I'm trying to get to 500 subs on YouTube, so that is the channel. And if you would be so kind as to click the sub button if you like it. The thumbnail is from Aiden. He's done a fantastic job on graphics for me. I am restructuring. First of all, I have a MegaBase. So here I am. Tiny little Europe. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm doing a 10K MegaBase, and what I've done is I've split it up into 3 of these rocket silo complexes that each can launch 4 rockets at a time. And I'll tell you what, I'll give you a little demonstration. I'll set these to auto launch, and they'll start launching. Go. Until I run out of resources, because I just shut off all the trains, because I have to rebuild my train stations again, because I'm not really good at circuits. So one of the things about this design is that it's self-contained in this regard. The only thing that travels out... I said that I would do SE when it reached 1.0, and that was before 2.0 was announced. Now I'm not so confident I'll even start SE, because after I do my MegaBase, I want to try speed running. But this rocket silo complex, everything it needs is right here. It gets all of its resources from these. Oil and copper and coal and iron. And it makes all the green circuits and blue circuits and modules and plate and all that stuff locally. And I have a little train that runs around delivering fuel to all of these little component entity modules. And then the bots take it and feed the trains when they unload. So they're independent little things. And there's 4 more rockets. When this train fills up, it takes it on a train ride. Note also that this train rails is broken. So these trains cannot get from out here to in there. Satellites have their own little mini factory. A complicated little beast that it is, but it ensures that I have what I need. So the space science goes along the rails through the Arabian Peninsula, over to BAM, where my science facility is, and all my research gets done here. So I don't have any research queued at the moment. I had just recently done this. So we're going to send LawGamer, who I have open on another screen. So we're going to send this off because I've shut this factory down, even though it's got apparently extra low-density structures or rocket control units. I have a mod called Train Trails, as you can see, and I have the debug setting turned on where trains are pathing. And that's mostly so I don't get my ass run over as much. I still get run over, like I got run over yesterday, just walking across the track back at my spawn point. I do use the Cities of Earth mod. If you hit !COE, you get a link to the mod portal. It's a mod I wrote that generates the Earth terrain from a satellite image. And I'm playing on one piece of the world, just what I call Old World, which is Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. But you can play on the Americas, you can play on the whole world, you can play on just the United States, you can play on Europe. And in Europe, the city capitals, the cities are actual capitals of countries in the European continent. You can choose the size, you can't change the resources, but you can turn biters on and off, all that stuff's normal. And you can turn it into a scenario. So you can tell it to pre-place the rocket silos, and then you have to go find them and recover them, or secure them from the biters, and then provide resources to them, because you can't build any. And that's an idea lifted from the scenario called Frontier, where the rocket cell is out there and you got to go get to it. So power is provided by nuclear, which I'm doing some of it here in Turkey. I'm up to 80 gigawatts. I have also placed some of these in Italy. It glows. Originally, power came from Portugal and Spain. Little tiny 4 reactors. And I've been gradually upgrading to these 14 reactors. Fennec designed a 14 reactor nuclear setup for me. I also have vehicle sticker, and Zendros has claimed his name on this train, and then he did something to bother me, so I shot his train. Gave him a little love tap with a machine gun. So at this point, I am restructuring this and trying to figure out how I want to do it. Why do I have 2 of those there? I don't know. Yeah, there's Zendros. Trying to get himself punched in the face again. So I've totally screwed the pooch by breaking what I had done here. And I should be more careful. I'm trying to figure out a strategy that is going to let me update all of the other stations without requiring me to do a whole bunch of stupid work, right? I'm going to have to reconfigure some of my supply trains to give me a lot more arithmetic combinators. Now, unfortunately, I have run out of time for tonight, so I'm going to have to call it there. We're going to go raid Lol Gamer and say hi to him. I appreciate it if you'd stick around for that. I will be back tomorrow at 4 p.m. U.S. East, so in, 12, 14, 16 hours from now. And also on Monday, I stream about 5 nights a week. Normally on Saturdays, I do music requests, but Spotify's being a little butthead today. Later, Mango. Later, Monkey. And raid now.